Coming up on Lexington Now, the Clays Mill Road and Wellington Park projects. Part 2 of our interview with the Downtown Lexington Corporation's Renee Shepard and downtown happenings. Those stories and more coming up on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Hi, I'm Brenna Angel, filling in for Sherelle Roberts. Welcome to this week's edition of Lexington Now, where we give you a detailed look at what's going on inside your urban county government. The Clays Mill Road Improvement Project has been a big boost to residents along the corridor from Man o' War to Keithshire Way, and the next phase was officially dedicated, along with a few improvements, to Wellington Park.
I look out over this crowd and I see dozens of people that I know who have worked not only on this park and in this neighborhood, but who contribute their efforts all over the city to make our city a better place to live. And that, I think, is what makes Lexington so special, certainly for me and for many of the people who live here. We're still a community that can pull together and get things done. And this park is one of the outstanding examples of what happens when we all do that together.
What a beautiful day. A day in which we celebrate some recent accomplishments pertaining to two specific city projects. One project being the completion of Clays Mill Road widening 2C, and the other project, the completion of the pedestrian bridge over at Wellington. And I'll talk about the bridge in just a moment. But before I do that, I would also like to welcome the friends and family members of the two remarkable ladies that we are also honoring here today, the late Joanne Bell and Dolores Taormina. Before I talk about these two women pioneers, I want to first talk about Phase 2C of the road widening project. I think we all can agree this stretch of Clays Mill Road between Keithshire and New Circle Road looks tremendous. It was not such an easy maneuver when the barrels were out and the construction crews were out, but the finished product made it all worth it. This multi-million-dollar project is an important milestone in the history of our community, and more specifically, a wonderful enhancement to the 9th District and Clays Mill Road. It was much needed and a welcome improvement to the residents of this area who routinely travel this road to school, to work, for shopping, and so many other activities. The purpose of this project was to improve safety and to reduce congestion along Clays Mill Road while preserving the residential character of 3.7 miles. And we did that successfully. 1, 2, 3. The second reason we're here this morning is to also mark the completion of the installation of the Wellington Bridge. If you hadn't had a chance to check it out, please do so. It looks great. It's a terrific addition to the park's walking trail system and all of the amenities we have at the Wellington Park here to offer, including the dog park. Some of you already know that we were able to repurpose the bridge, which sat unused for several years at the back of the park that was right adjacent to New Circle Road, after it was no longer in use at the Legacy Trail. And I thank Councilmember Jay McCord for getting it over here. And I'm just so delighted that we now have a permanent home, and it will be utilized by so many visitors, school children, walkers, and runners at the park for many years to come. And finally, this morning we're paying tribute to my mentors and our Stonewall neighbors and friends, Joanne Bell and Dolores Taormina, who contributed in so many different ways to the 9th District in our community. They may be gone, but I can safely say they are certainly not forgotten. Simply put, they were the best of the best. And today is an opportunity to express our sincere appreciation for the differences they made. In their selflessness and willingness to step up, they truly inspired greatness in others. There are many words I could use to describe them, and here are but a few. Strong, persevering, dedicated, compassionate, kind, and definitely funny. I marveled at both of them. They were an inspiration and an example to me because of their unwavering devotion to our community. How fitting that these two ladies are being honored here today in the Wellington Women's Garden, a garden which was envisioned as a place to honor everyday heroines who have made Lexington a wonderful place to live and work.
For more information about the project, visit our website, lexingtonky.gov. Last week, we visited with Renee Shepard, the longtime executive director of the Downtown Lexington Corporation. She is now leaving to go on to new opportunities. We continue with part 2 of her look back at her years with the Downtown Lexington Corporation.
I know a lot of talk's been about the management district, and can you talk about that and how that all come about?
Well, that was another initiative back when I was hired. That was something that our board wanted to see happen for downtown. And what a management district is a special tax district, and it only affects the property owners within that boundary. But they have to agree to tax themselves, and then that money can go to enhancements and improvements. It can't go to replace services. And that's the way that most cities across the country and even the world are funded. It had been tried here before and not been successful. Louisville has had their management district since the early 90s. And we finally were able to get the property owner support and the political support to make that happen. It was created in 2015, and it will actually start taking effect here in the next month or two.
What would you like to see happen in the future if you're going?
I want to see Town Branch Commons happen. I think that is a pivotal project for Lexington, and not just downtown Lexington, but that's a regional impact project that if we get that done, which it seems like it's moving in the right direction, I've always said when I saw the first presentation that was like the moment in Greenville when they decided to create their bridge, or even in San Antonio all those years ago when they did the Riverwalk, that was kind of their aha moment, and then there was the will to get it done. But how many other cities across the country have seen those similar presentations and just let them go, thinking it's a pipe dream? And also the work on the historic courthouse, I think, is going to really, really add to downtown. It's such a beautiful, iconic building for downtown, and to have it become a hub of activity will be great. We've really been able to increase our membership. We have about 420 members now, and 10 years ago we had less than 200, or right around 200. We've also seen a real interest in the business community to want to sponsor events. We couldn't do these events without Central Bank and Fifth Third Bank and all the other sponsors that we have. I think sometimes the public thinks things just happen and they don't realize all that goes into the setup. We're out here at noon on a Thursday beginning this process. And we want the public to think it's seamless, but there is a lot to the behind the scenes that goes into an event or any type of production. Over the years, DLC has played a pretty critical role in getting some ordinances updated that really help downtown. If you remember, prior to the World Equestrian Games, we started working on getting Sunday alcohol sales expanded. And it wasn't just for World Equestrian Games. It was really about economics. The way the ordinance was written, it was really unfair to the smaller restaurants. If you had less than 100 seats, you couldn't even serve alcohol on Sunday. So that was a real economic benefit when that changed in 2007. And then we also helped with the sign ordinance. We had a pretty strict sign ordinance. It wasn't fun at all. You could have an awning, but you couldn't have a sign that projected off your building. So I think getting that changed was also another really significant pro-business ordinance update that happened in the last 10 years. And another real accomplishment, I think, for the Downtown Lexington Corporation, coming back to getting that recognition that we were hoping for 10 years ago. In 2015, we were named Commerce Lexington's Small Business Nonprofit Award winner, which was a real feather in the organization's cap, I think. And it's been a real pleasure working here. It's been a tremendous learning opportunity and a great experience that I've had over the last 10 years, and really appreciate the whole community's support. Right now, Catherine Minton is the interim director, and she's been with the organization and been around downtown for a long time. So I think she understands that there's a fine line of politics and public opinion that has to be balanced. And I think she'll do a great job, and whether she's the permanent replacement or not, I think that person is definitely going to have to understand that balance.
And speaking of downtown, if you're looking for something to do, there's no better place to go. Here's what's happening this week in downtown Lexington.
Are you looking for things to do during this gorgeous fall week? Here are some events going on in downtown Lexington. This Tuesday at Hopcat is the Dry Ground Brewing Beer Dinner from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at hopcatlexdryground.eventbrite.com. Also on Tuesday at the Daily Offerings Coffee Roastery is the Girls' Night Out, where you will learn how to do hand lettering. Then on Wednesday at Fusion Gallery is Fusion Family Fun Night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where you'll be painting butterflies with Enrique. For more information, visit fusiongallery.xyz. This Thursday is Central Bank Thursday Night Live, sponsored by G&J Pepsi Lexington, brought to you by the Downtown Lexington Corporation, with the band Blind Corn Liquor Pickers, performing at 5:30 p.m. Our featured nonprofit is Lexington Montessori School. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Lyric Theater is showing The Brown Girl, Bluegrass Experience, an autobiographical story of its star and creator, Lucretia Berry, that examines the rarely documented cultural history of African Americans in Kentucky. For more information, visit lexingtonlyric.com. Also on Saturday and Sunday, the Lexington Children's Theater will be performing Fancy Nancy the Musical at various times. For more information, visit lctonstage.org. Are you looking for something to do during this gorgeous fall week? Downtown Lexington has it all. Visit downtownlexington.com or find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
And coming up after the break, fall events are gearing up at the Carnegie Center.
Hello, I'm Detective Mark Thomas with the Lexington Police Department. You may also know me from Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about a new texting system that we have available through any smartphone. In the body of your message, you can text LexPD plus your tip to crimes. When you're submitting anonymous information, we ask that you include several things that would help us conduct the investigations more thoroughly, such as a person's name, their home address, possible license plate numbers, any other people involved, or why you think that they're conducting the type of activity that you believe that they are. All of those things, no matter how small you believe they could be, are relevant to the investigation. So please include those. So remember, you can send your anonymous tip information either through text, you can call the Bluegrass Crime Stoppers anonymous tip line at 859-253-2020, or you can go online to bluegrasscrimestoppers.com. Thank you.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Fire Administration. Have two ways out. When fire strikes, deadly smoke can fill your home within minutes. That's why the USFA wants you to plan and practice home fire drills. Draw a map of each level of your home showing all doors and windows. Discuss the map with everyone who lives with you. Practice your home fire drill at least twice a year. Make sure all doors and windows that lead outside open easily. Push the smoke alarm button to start the drill. Try feeling your way in the dark or with your eyes closed. Have at least two ways out of every room. If your first way out is blocked by fire or smoke, you can use your second way out. If there is smoke, get low and go. Crawl quickly under the smoke to your nearest exit. Close doors behind you and gather at a pre-planned outside meeting place where first responders can see you. Call 911. Remember, get out and stay out. Never go back inside for people, pets, or things. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Welcome back to the show. The Carnegie Center is the go-to place for lovers of literature of all ages, and they're kicking off the fall season of classes soon. Neil Chethik, the director of the center, gives us a preview.
The city did not have a public library back in the late 1800s, and so we were one of hundreds of American cities that applied to the Carnegie Endowment, and the steel magnate Andrew Carnegie gave $65,000 to the city of Lexington to build the Carnegie Center in 1903. And it was built over the next 2 years, and the thing that was most important is that it would be free to the public. The Carnegie Center is today a learning center and community center. Every one of us cannot reach our full potential unless we can read, learn, unless we can write. You can't be a mathematician if you can't read. You can't be an engineer if you can't read. So reading is the fundamental learning that has to be done, and we take that as our challenge in the Lexington community. We have 80 classes that will be available from September 1st through the end of December. And those classes range from a writing class for a 5-year-old who's just learning how to write. We have classes for adults that are in storytelling, fiction, nonfiction, poetry. So we really try also to help people who may have written 20 or 25 years ago and haven't been writing since then, but who want to come back and make another stab at it. We also have a lot of celebrations, literary celebrations. For example, this fall we have one that's called Carnegie Classics. You may be seeing this around. We're taking the book 1984 and making it possible for you to come to us and walk into the building. It will seem like you're walking onto the set of 1984 or into the novel of 1984. And we try to make the arts be something that is exciting and worthy of a night of celebration. I want to strongly encourage people in the community who have time to consider donating their time to the Carnegie Center. But we bring in about 200 adults to work one-on-one with children, and you get to work with the same child every week for the whole school year. The idea is that you create a deep relationship with that child, they with you, and that mixed with the fact that you're tutoring them and mentoring them helps them associate education in a positive way. Later in the fall, we will be announcing the new inductees into the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame. We always have an induction ceremony in January, but over the fall We take in nominations. We want to hear from people about who they think are the greatest writers, both present living writers and past writers who have died. We have language classes, so if you're interested in learning Spanish or French, we have full several levels of each of those. We also do a series called Just Enough of a language. We've had Just Enough Italian, Just Enough Russian, Just Enough Chinese. This fall we're having one called Just Enough Portuguese. The success stories that I'm most proud of are the ones that I hear of kids who have come here for tutoring when they're 4, 5, 6, 7th grade, maybe stayed for 2 or 3 years, or maybe even were tutored all the way through high school. A student who may have gone to one of our mentors to help them decide which college and which tests to take and how to prepare for those, and is now in college or beyond. I would strongly encourage you, invite you to come by. The building's beautiful, it's historic, and we've done a lot of renovation work, so it's a wonderful place to actually tutor people. Also, we can show you around, introduce you to the people, show you where you can park, and it can be a really wonderful place to take classes, to tutor kids, or just to have as an event, as a space for an event that you might want to do. So come on by. We're at 251 West 2nd Street, just north of downtown Lexington, or you can call us at 859-254-4175, or you can go online, www.carnegiecenterlex.org, lex.org.
Lexington Police have added a new tool to their growing list of resources to help keep both officers and the public safe.
Hi, I'm Commander Eric Lowe with the Lexington Police Department, here to talk to you about our new police body-worn cameras. Body cameras can help citizens and officers when police are responding to an incident. With few exceptions, Lexington police officers are required to activate their camera when making any law enforcement contact with the public. This includes traffic stops and requests for service at businesses and homes. Let's take a look at a typical traffic stop, and then see what that same sequence looks like from the perspective of a body camera.
Hello, I'm Officer Grimm, Lexington Police Department. Pulled you over because you ran that stop sign back there.
The officer can position the camera on his or her collar or wear it on their glasses. The release of body camera videos will be in accordance with the Kentucky Open Records Act. That's a quick look at our police body cameras. You can see a list of frequently asked questions and our complete policy on the city's website.
Police also want you to be aware of the rules of the road, particularly as it relates to cyclists in the downtown area. Here's what you should know.
When riding bicycles downtown Lexington, or anywhere for that matter, there are special traffic considerations cyclists must adhere to.
My name is Howard Florence. I'm a police officer downtown in Lexington. I've been with the department for 22 years. When you're on a bike downtown, we do encourage that you use the streets. The bicycle lanes are well marked, the streets are well paved. There's some hazards associated with that, as would be anywhere you're on the street. Watch for parked cars pulling out, watch for people exiting their cars, watch for the doors opening up, kind of a thing. Watch for pedestrians, they may step out between cars in your path. Make sure you signal your intentions to the motorist if you're changing lanes or making turns. And one of the most important things is to make sure that you stop for the red lights. Especially downtown, the cars are going to trip the lights. You're not going to have to wait very long. It's a safety issue, and it is the state law that as a cyclist on the road, you're bound by the same laws that govern vehicles. So stopping for the red lights is highly encouraged. When you're riding in the street downtown, always make sure that you're going with traffic. You don't want to ride against traffic. Stay to the right as much as you can. If you find yourself riding on the sidewalk, obviously that creates a whole nother set of hazards for you and for pedestrians. Pedestrians always have the right of way. So if you find yourself on the sidewalk, some things to look out for: don't get too close to the buildings. People could be stepping out or opening a door on you. And just the simple fact that pedestrians move so much slower than anybody that would be on a bicycle, you're always going to catch up to them. So if you're catching up to a pedestrian walking, their backs to you, they're not going to know you're there. So if you have a bell on your bike, you might want to just give that a little friendly ring, or just give a kind greeting just so that they know that you're there. And then make sure you still give them enough space, because when they react to you, it still may startle them, and you may not know how they're going to react. They may step into your path. So I just want to emphasize pedestrians, they always have the right of way. And also watch for cars that are maybe pulling in and out of the parking garages. They're not really expecting a bicycle to be coming down maybe, because like I said, you're going to be moving a lot faster than a pedestrian would be. So just make sure you're watch out for that. BikeLexington.com is a very good resource. It has links to the state laws for bicycling as well as the city ordinances.
For more information about the Lexington Police Department, visit their page on the city's website, lexingtonky.gov. It's as busy as ever at City Hall, and there are several meetings, including the Budget, Finance, and Economic Development Committee, Council Work Session, the Board of Architectural Review, Council Meeting, and the Board of Adjustment. You can watch these meetings live on GTV3 or streaming on our website, or watch any archived meeting and find a complete calendar of meetings and events at lexingtonky.gov. That's all for this week's edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from the Urban County government. But in the meantime, you can get the latest information from the city by following us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also get the latest on any traffic delays you may encounter by following us on Twitter at LexRex or checking out our live interactive cameras at lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at GTV3, I'm Brenna Angel, and that's it for now.
The preceding program was produced through the facilities of GTV3.